In the distorted space, countless streams of light whizzed past. Within those streams, droplets of thunder marrow flickered with a silver gleam, and a deep thunderous rumble echoed through the air. Whoosh! Amidst the blazing light, 5 radiant light rainbows sped ahead. Powerful suction forces erupted from them, drawing in the surrounding streams of light with forceful precision. Bang! Bang! As the light streams collided, they unleashed piercing, haunting cries, sharp and chilling, filling the air with an eerie, unsettling atmosphere. However, at the forefront of these light rainbows, Chen led the way. Calmly seated on the thunder light cushion, the suction force emanating from him was the strongest, making him the one to absorb the most streams of light. Protected by the true dragon and phoenix patterns, he seemed unconcerned, unlike Shan, Feng, and the others, who were more cautious. He figured that, no matter what, he should first seize this opportunity and enjoy the benefits, before worrying about anything else. Whoosh, whoosh, the streams of light, containing thunder marrow, shot toward him like arrows, piercing his flesh. The thunder marrow corroded his body, and an excruciating pain washed over him, covering his entire body in blood. His skin and flesh were a blur, barely recognizable as human. Yet, amidst the blood and flesh, the true dragon and phoenix patterns on his arms shimmered with a purple-gold glow. They seemed to cheer, greedily absorbing the thunder marrow. Energy flowing into his body, emitting dragon roars and phoenix cries to help alleviate the torment. Even with their assistance, Chen was still tortured by the searing pain, feeling lightheaded and barely conscious. Only his instincts and determination kept him going, desperately absorbing the streams of light as they rushed past. His absorption speed grew faster and faster in the end. Almost every stream of light that passed by him was forcibly drawn in and endured by his body. This near-mad consumption was enough to send a chill down the spines of Shan, Zong Teng, Feng, and Su Kuan, who were watching from a distance. Seeing the figure on the thunder light cushion, now almost reduced to a bloodied mass, they were filled with genuine apprehension. This guy is crazy. Such an act of absorption would be impossible even for them, with their divine beast bodies. Yet Chen, with his human form, was doing it, and seeing his behavior made them question themselves. Who truly is the divine beast? Shan and the others glanced at the distant light circle, which was now nearing them. They had already passed halfway through the space, and it wouldn't be long before they entered the 4th layer of the body refining tower. At that point, the opportunity for the thunder marrow baptism would undoubtedly pass. Despite knowing their chances were running out, Shan and the others reluctantly slowed their pace of absorbing the streams of light. They could feel their physical bodies starting to struggle with the unbearable pain of dissolution that if they continued to push through, it would only harm their bodies, and that would be counterproductive. For Chen ahead. He must have some special methods. Otherwise, there was no way he could be this crazy. That guy is really lucky, Zong Teng muttered, his face darkening. He had noticed that Chen, whom he had once dismissed, had continuously surpassed him ever since entering the body refining tower, leaving him eating dust in the back. Once we reach the 4th layer, I'll find a way to deal with him. Zong Teng's mind burned with murderous intent. Chen had already gained far too many benefits, and if he kept going, he might even obtain something close to a saint-level artifact. At that point, Zong Teng would likely have no choice but to flee. As Zong Teng's murderous thoughts swirled, the 5 thunder light cushions continued their swift progress. This time, however, the speed of absorption from Shan and the others began to slow, while Chen's frenzy only increased. It seemed as though he wanted to devour all the thunder marrow in this space. Shan and the others, watching enviously, eventually closed their eyes, choosing to ignore the scene. Time quickly passed, and after what felt like an eternity, Shan and the others sensed the change. They opened their eyes to find that the light circle leading to the 4th layer of the body refining tower was now clearly visible, and the once thick stream of light had started to thin out. They turned their heads and looked at the stream of light gradually fading behind them, sighing with a hint of regret. However, being extraordinary individuals, they quickly subdued their feelings and began to focus on assessing the progress of their physical bodies. During this assessment, joyful expressions appeared on their faces as they clearly sensed the immense power within their blood and flesh. Their bodies had also undergone a refining process, growing even stronger. This thunder marrow baptism had indeed brought considerable benefits, as they marveled at the improvements in their bodies. Chen, who was seated on the thunder-light cushion ahead of them, opened his eyes. The moment his eyes opened, a dazzling golden light erupted from his body. The golden light surged, his bloodied and battered body rapidly healed. Golden lines began to appear on his skin, faintly resembling dragon scales and phoenix feathers. Looking extremely peculiar, Chen lowered his gaze to his arms. There, the true dragon and true phoenix patterns had deepened in color, now with a more profound purple-gold hue. The true dragon lifted its claws, which became even sharper, with a purple light swirling around them, emitting a sharp, indescribable aura that seemed capable of tearing through space. The wings of the true phoenix were now even more dazzling. When spread, they seemed as though they could fly thousands of miles, covering the sky and earth. Especially the pair of dragon and phoenix eyes. From previously just a crack, they were now nearly half open. Beneath the eyelids, golden light surged with an aura of authority that instilled awe. Clearly, this thunder marrow baptism had caused tremendous changes to the true dragon and true phoenix patterns. Seeing this transformation, Chen couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. He then slowly clenched his fist, as his fingers closed. An incredibly terrifying power seemed to gather in his palm, one capable of destroying a mountain with a single strike. Chen lightly threw a punch. There was no visible disturbance, but as the punch cut through the air, the space around it twisted. This was the power he had unleashed purely from his physical body. With this punch, even a 6th grade supreme would be easily obliterated. A satisfied smile appeared on Chen's face. It seemed that all the suffering he had endured was worthwhile. The benefits from this thunder marrow baptism far surpassed the combined trials of the previous 3 layers. However, if he hadn't undergone the refining process in the first 3 layers, even with the help of the true dragon and true phoenix patterns, it would have been extremely difficult for him to withstand the frenzied absorption of thunder marrow. After assessing his improvement, Chen stood up from the thunder-light cushion, his gaze turning toward the glowing circle leading to the 4th layer. Not far on both sides, Shan and the others had also caught up. They glanced at Chen. Although their expressions remained calm, a slight shock stirred in their hearts. They all felt that Chen, at this moment, seemed even more dangerous than before. Clearly, this guy had gained significant progress from this thunder marrow baptism. A cold gleam flashed in Zong Teng's eyes. It seemed that every time Chen passed a layer of the body refining tower, his strength grew stronger. He remembered when he first saw Chen before the body refining tower. Despite Chen's spiritual array techniques, he had not been taken seriously. Yet who would have expected that? After passing the 3rd layer of the body refining tower, Chen now made him feel a growing sense of danger with each step. This progress was truly alarming. This person must be eliminated at the right opportunity. Zong Teng gritted his teeth, his killing intent growing more intense. Chen stood on the thunder-light cushion, seemingly sensing something. He glanced sideways at the grim-faced Zong Teng, his eyes turning a little colder. Zong Teng had caused him trouble time and again, so it seemed that it was time to take action. Such an enemy needed to be completely removed. However, this was not the time for that. Compared to the opportunities in the body refining tower, Zong Teng was nothing. Chen was very clear about this. While Chen was lost in thought, Shan's eyes burned with intensity as he stared at the glowing circle leading to the 4th layer. He shot forward first, rushing straight into the circle, disappearing from view. Following Shan, Zong Teng, Feng, and Su Kuan immediately followed. Rushing into the circle one after another, Chen smiled slightly as he watched them disappear, but a trace of anticipation appeared in his black eyes. He had already gained enough from the first 3 layers of the body refining tower that he couldn't wait to see what challenges awaited him in the 4th layer. He gently touched his arm with his palm. If before, he had some doubts about whether he could break through to the 2nd layer of the dragon and phoenix scripture within the body refining tower. Now, he was filled with absolute confidence. Once he made that breakthrough, Zong Teng would no longer pose any threat in his eyes to it that point. Eliminating him would be as easy as flipping a hand. Thinking of this, Chen couldn't help but chuckled. He then lightly tapped his foot on the thunderlight cushion, and his figure shot forward like a heavenly rock, swiftly approaching the glowing circle leading to the fourth layer of the body refining tower. Without hesitation, he entered it. Body refining tower, fourth layer, I hope you won't disappoint me. That Chen passed through the glowing circle to the fourth layer. The light before him suddenly dimmed. However, this dimness quickly faded, and when it did, the space around him transformed once again to Chen's surprise. The scene that appeared was not a harsh environment, but an ancient plaza that stretched for about 1,000 feet. At this moment, he stood at one corner of the plaza, and not far from him were Feng and the other three. This is the fourth layer of the body refining tower. Chen looked around in shock. The plaza was incredibly ancient, with the ground paved with worn stone slabs, bearing the marks of time. A sense of desolation permeated the entire space. Unlike the harshness of the first three layers of the body refining tower, this ancient plaza was peaceful and serene at first glance. Nothing seemed unusual, and facing this scene, Chen couldn't help but feel puzzled. This is indeed the fourth layer of the body refining tower, came a voice from beside him. Chen turned to see Feng walking over, his expression indifferent. Chen paused, then frowned. Is there some secret here? Since this was the fourth layer of the body refining tower, it was definitely not as simple as it appeared on the surface. Feng nodded and pointed directly to the center of the ancient plaza. Look there. Chen immediately followed his gaze, and then froze. In the very center of the plaza, there stood a black stone stele, only a few yards tall. The stone stele was not towering, and in this vast, ancient plaza, it was hard to ignore. In fact, Chen hadn't noticed it until now. Could this black stone stele be the test of the fourth layer of the body refining tower? Chen was puzzled. This is the power stele, Feng said. Power stele. Chen felt a headache coming on. His knowledge of the divine beast planes was, unfortunately, too limited. The rule for this fourth layer is actually quite simple. All you have to do is strike the power stele with the full strength of your physical body, Feng explained flatly. Did you notice the bronze lanterns on the power stele? Chen nodded. When he first saw the black stone stele, he had noticed that there were 9 bronze lanterns embedded in the front of the stele, though they were dark, without any flames. Those are the markers for measuring the power of a punch. The ultimate goal is to light all 9 lanterns, but that's practically impossible. Even a 9th grade Supreme can't do it. A trace of surprise flashed in Chen's eyes. Even a 9th grade Supreme couldn't make all 9 lanterns light up with a full-strength punch? This seemingly ordinary power stele could withstand such terrifying force? According to the rules, if you can light 6 of the bronze lanterns, you will pass this fourth layer. Light 6. Chen clenched his hand into a fist. A look of eager excitement appeared in his eyes. If it was just a contest of pure physical strength, he was confident he wouldn't lose to anyone present. Moreover, he was curious about how powerful his physical strength could be with the dragon and phoenix body if he gave it his all. Feng noticed Chen's expression and couldn't help but remind him, don't be careless. Based on what I know, most of the prodigies who entered here in previous years, over 90%, failed. Chen nodded slightly. He certainly wouldn't underestimate the challenge. But Feng's words still surprised him. It seemed that lighting 6 lanterns was indeed no small feat. Then what's the reward for passing this fourth layer? Chen suddenly thought of the most crucial question. The harsh environments of the first 3 layers had a clear purpose, to temper the body. But what about the fourth layer? Even if he lit 6 lanterns and passed, what would he gain? According to the rules of the body refining tower, it shouldn't leave him empty-handed. The benefits are still on that stone tablet. Feng seemed to smile slightly as he gazed at the black stone tablet. Whether it was an illusion or not, Chen could clearly see a hint of intense heat in his eyes at that moment. The stone tablet didn't seem as simple as it appeared on the surface. Do you know what this stone tablet is made of? Feng asked. Chen naturally shook his head. Everything here was still unfamiliar to him. It is forged from the blood and flesh of the heaven-devouring beast. Heaven-devouring beast. Chen was first stunned, Then visibly moved, it was said that the so-called heaven-devouring beast was a super-divine beast born of the heavens and earth, not of any bloodline, and its rarity surpassed that of any other super-divine beast. It seemed to have only appeared in the very ancient times, and now, few had ever heard of it. The heaven-devouring beast, in its fury, could devour the heavens. Even the heavenly supreme would have to be wary of it. Chen had only come across some information about it in ancient texts, but he never expected that this seemingly unremarkable stone tablet before him would be forged from the blood and flesh of the heaven-devouring beast. Hard to imagine. Chen couldn't help but exclaim. The heaven-devouring beast was a terrifying creature that even super-divine beasts like the true dragon and phoenix needed to be cautious of. And this power stele, once struck with force, will release a trace of the heaven-devouring beast's essence. The strength of this essence depends on the force of the strike. In simple terms, the more bronze lanterns you light, the stronger the blood chi that leaks out. And that, my friend, is the benefit of passing the fourth layer. Do you understand? Feng's gaze grew increasingly intense as he spoke slowly. Chen's heart shook, and he nodded heavily. The essence of the heaven-devouring beast, if he could absorb it, the benefits to his own cultivation would be unimaginable, clearly beyond words. This was even stronger than thunder marrow. No wonder Feng was so moved. Indeed, every level of this body refining tower was monumental. As Feng spoke with Chen, Shan, Zong Teng, and Su Kuan also stared greedily and gravely at the black stone tablet. Then, the group gradually approached it. As they drew nearer, Chen discovered that the black stone tablet was covered in a dense array of variously sized fist and palm prints. Clearly, these were left by previous testers. The stone tablet was incredibly hard, and it was impossible to tell that it was made from blood and flesh. However, its dark color emitted a faint, terrifying pressure, causing one's blood to tremble. Chen knew that it must be the residual aura of the heaven-devouring beast. Even if it was just a trace, it made it difficult for them to breathe. What surprised Chen most was that as he neared the stone tablet, he found his spiritual energy gradually stagnating, making it difficult to operate, as if it were being directly suppressed by some powerful force. Spiritual energy is completely suppressed. As expected, only pure physical strength can be used here. Chen clenched his fist that it was extremely difficult to mobilize his spiritual energy, almost to the point of failing. Looking at Feng and the others, Chen noticed that the spiritual energy around them had also vanished. However, their expressions remained calm, clearly having anticipated this. Although the black stone tablet was right before their eyes, the five of them tacitly refrained from rushing into action. Instead, they sat down on the spot, adjusting their states. According to the rules, each person only had one opportunity to strike. If they failed, they would be eliminated and sent out of the body refining tower. Therefore, that one punch would have to be the pinnacle of their physical strength. Before that, they needed to gather and concentrate their power. Any premature engagement would be unwise. As a result, the atmosphere among the five was surprisingly harmonious, with no sign of hostility. Each sat in meditation, preparing to quickly bring their state to its peak. That moment, the ancient square became eerily quiet, with only the faint sound of their breathing echoing. Meanwhile, outside the body refining tower, it was quite lively, with many curious gazes fixed on the fourth layer's light barrier. The scenes within were projected outside, allowing everyone to see the five meditating calmly inside. That must be the power stele from the rumors, right? Apparently, only those who light 6 bronze lanterns are eligible to pass the fourth layer. It seems like most prodigies stop here. Those 6 bronze lanterns are no easy feat to light. Even someone with 7th grade supreme strength could easily fail here. Yeah, I wonder how many of them will remain after this round. Hansan seems likely. As for the others, we'll have to see their methods. Though only physical strength can be used, there are still loopholes. After all, it's just one strike. Some secret techniques can instantly enhance physical strength. I think they must have prepared for this. Whispers began to spread outside the tower. However, those present were all experienced, and the one who spoke seemed to make a lot of sense, presenting a very reasonable argument. Both Nine Nether and Mo Ling exchanged glances before looking towards the two figures inside the fourth layer's light barrier. This layer was purely a contest of physical bodies that on the surface, it seemed disadvantageous for Mu Chun, as he was human, but after the earlier events, no one present would think that a human's body would be weaker than that of a divine beast. Thus, the upcoming test left everyone in suspense. While the crowd murmured with speculation, they suddenly saw the five figures in the fourth layer's light barrier open their eyes simultaneously. In the ancient plaza, the five figures who had been sitting silently all opened their eyes at the same time. In that instant, a faint red glow radiated from their bodies. This was not a manifestation of spiritual energy, but a sign that their vital energy had reached its peak. Clearly, after some time of adjustment, their physical condition had now reached its zenith. The faint red glow lingered, and then Su Kuan, from the Demon Elephant clan, was the first to rise. His eyes burned with intensity as he stared at the black stone tablet that he grinned and said, "Since no one else is stepping up, I'll be the first to see what makes this so-called power stele so extraordinary." Mu Chun and the others remained silent, clearly tacitly approving. After all, in a situation like this, there was no need to compete for order. There was only one chance to strike. Seeing no objections, Su Kuan strode forward and stopped in front of the black stone tablet. He took a deep breath, then clenched his palms tightly. Boom! A burst of red light erupted from within his body. Su Kuan's physique rapidly expanded, his muscles bulging like iron blocks. His veins surged beneath his skin like dragon tendrils. Though there was no sign of spiritual energy fluctuation, the power erupting from Su Kuan's body was still so overwhelming that it left a strong impression. But after pushing his strength to the limit, Su Kuan did not stop there. Instead, he suddenly formed a seal with his hands. At once, the vital energy around his body began to concentrate, turning into blood-red patterns that appeared on his skin, making him look far more ferocious. Those are the blood runes of the Demon Elephant clan. Activating the bloodline temporarily enhances one's physical strength. Mo Feng whispered beside Mu Chun. Mu Chun nodded. He could feel that Su Kuan's body was indeed much stronger now, but he couldn't help but feel a bit envious. The divine beast bodies of these individuals gave them natural advantages when it came to physical strength. I wonder how many bronze lamps Su Kuan will light. Mu Chun thought. Just as this thought crossed Mu Chun's mind, Su Kuan stomped his foot heavily on the ground. The ancient plaza seemed to tremble, and then his body shot forward with the ferocity of a rampaging beast, as though he sought to destroy the heavens and earth. Boom! Su Kuan threw a punch, the red vital energy wrapping around his fist. As the punch swept through the air, the space shook, creating a piercing sonic boom. Behind him, a massive phantom of a demon elephant appeared, its vicious and menacing presence sending a chill down the spine. Bang! With all of Su Kuan's might channeled into the punch, the air exploded as it crashed violently into the black stone tablet. In the moment of impact, a deep rumble echoed. The surface of the black stone tablet seemed to ripple with waves, but it remained unyielding. Roar! The ripples spread, and then Mu Chun and the others saw the first bronze lamp atop the stone tablet light up, flames bursting forth with a sharp hiss. The flame was a deep crimson, pulsing with the energy of vital energy, as though it had condensed from Su Kuan's previous punch. Whoosh, 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 as the first bronze lamp ignited. The second, third, and fourth quickly followed suit. However, by the time they reached the fifth lamp, the speed slowed down. A faint red smoke drifted inside the fifth lamp, and after a brief moment of gathering, it finally erupted into flames with a hiss. The fifth bronze lamp was lit. Mu Chun and the others remained motionless, their gazes fixed firmly on the sixth bronze lantern. With Su Kuan's strength, lighting the first 5 lanterns was within their expectations, but whether he could light the sixth one was of crucial importance. Hiss! Hiss! After the fifth lantern was lit, sparks began to appear inside the sixth bronze lantern. They struggled to gather, slowly bursting into flames under Su Kuan's crimson gaze. However, just as the flames began to brighten, the sparks suddenly trembled and quickly extinguished, returning to complete darkness. The sixth bronze lantern had failed. Su Kuan stared at this scene, his face turning pale, disbelief written all over him. He had poured all his strength into this punch, yet he couldn't even light the sixth bronze lantern. The others, including Chen, who had been watching from behind, became solemn. They had expected Su Kuan to have a better than 50% chance of lighting the sixth lantern, but they hadn't anticipated his failure. They sighed in regret. The black stone tablet suddenly trembled that a trace of chaotic airflow emerged, winding its way into Su Kuan's nostrils. Su Kuan's body stiffened instantly. As his vital energy surged, waves of crimson energy poured from him, rapidly strengthening his physical body in just a few dozen breaths. The power of his vital energy was significantly enhanced. Is that the essence of the devouring divine beast? Chen's eyes flashed as he recognized the change. He could sense that Su Kuan's physical strength had grown even more powerful than when he underwent the thunder marrow baptism. The essence of the devouring divine beast was indeed a great supplement for the physical body. If Su Kuan had another chance to strike, he would likely have an 80% chance of lighting the sixth lantern and qualifying for the final layer. But unfortunately, Su Kuan, clearly aware of this, gritted his teeth in frustration. Immediately, light radiated from his body as his figure vanished, signaling that after failing to light the 6 bronze lanterns, he had been eliminated from the body refining tower. Chen and the others watched as Su Kuan failed and was expelled, and a heavy silence fell over them. Their expressions grew even more serious. After a brief pause, Zong Teng slowly stepped forward with a faint smile, saying, "I'll go second." With that, he moved to stand before the black stone tablet, focused his mind, and suddenly, a burst of light erupted from his body. In the midst of the explosion of light, his form transformed into a massive heavenly rock, stretching several thousand feet in size. Zong Teng had actually transformed into his true form. The heavenly rock stood proudly in the air, its massive wings shimmering with a faint golden hue, exuding authority and dominance. Caw! A piercing cry echoed through the heavens and earth. In the next instant, the giant golden rock's talons descended, seemingly tearing through space itself. One swipe was powerful enough to crush mountains and split oceans. Boom! The massive, scale-covered talon struck the black stone tablet. Despite the stone tablet's size, only a few feet tall, it seemed minuscule under the force of the rock's claw. Yet, the stone tablet remained firmly planted on the ground, untouched by the titanic strength. However, the force was still transmitted through the claw and into the stone tablet. Roar! Roar! In an instant, the bronze lanterns atop the stone tablet began to light up one by one. Within just a few breaths, 5 of the lanterns were burning, their speed far surpassing Su Kuan's earlier attempt. It was faster, more forceful. When the 5th lantern ignited, the 6th one began to show sparks. The flames gathered, and under Chen and the others' watchful eyes, it fully ignited. The 6th bronze lantern had been successfully lit. As the 6th lantern flared to life, cheers erupted from outside the body refining tower. Many powerful cultivators marveled at Zong Teng's feat, what Su Kuan could not achieve. Zong Teng had accomplished effortlessly. Amidst the deafening shouts, Lu Qing and the others wore smug expressions on their faces. The malicious energy that had been repeatedly suppressed by Chen was finally able to be vented. This guy really is quite strong. Chen couldn't help but nod in agreement as he observed Zong Teng from the ancient plaza. Although Zong Teng was irritating, his strength was undeniable. Feng also nodded slightly, not denying Zong Teng's power. As they spoke, the black stone tablet, which had 6 bronze lanterns lit on it, trembled again. A chaotic aura erupted from it, rushing directly toward the massive heavenly rock. The rock inhaled deeply, drawing in the devouring divine beast essence. In an instant, golden light shot out from its body. Its already golden feathers seemed to become even more profound in color at that moment. As the golden light surged, the heavenly rock rapidly shrank and eventually turned into a human figure, appearing once more on the plaza. Zong Teng stood with his hands behind his back, a faint smile on his face. His gaze shifted toward Feng and Chen, and he said with a smile, "Now, it's time to watch your performance." His words seemed casual, yet they carried an unavoidable sense of arrogance. Feng glanced at him, but didn't respond. He simply stepped forward. Standing before the stone tablet, Feng showed no sign of changing his form. He raised his hand and slapped out. The strike seemed effortless, but as it was made, his fingers turned unusually sharp, and golden phoenix feathers seemed to appear faintly, adhering to his hand, almost like a pair of phoenix-winged gauntlets. With a single palm strike, the phoenix cry echoed. Boom! The wind from his palm struck heavily against the stone tablet. The surface of the stone rippled, and the bronze lanterns lit up one by one. In just a few breaths, 5 bronze lanterns were lit. Then, the 6th bronze lantern sparked, and soon it too ignited in a blaze. Zong Teng's brow furrowed slightly. Although he knew Feng's strength, he hadn't expected the latter to so easily light all 6 bronze lanterns. This achievement was almost on par with his own. However, just as that thought crossed his mind, his pupils suddenly contracted. He saw that after the 6th lantern was lit, it didn't stop there. Sparks began to appear in the 7th lantern. Though the sparks were sparse and faded after a brief moment, the display was far more impressive than anything Zong Teng had done before. Feng actually had the qualification to attempt lighting the 7th bronze lantern. On the black stone tablet, the sparks in the 7th lantern flickered for a moment before vanishing. This clearly indicated a failed attempt. But Feng's expression remained calm. He didn't appear discouraged at all. Slowly, he withdrew his hand, and the golden phoenix feathers on his arm gradually faded. That earlier palm strike, though seemingly simple, was actually the pinnacle of his physical strength. Behind him, Zong Teng watched with an expression that was less than pleased. When he had fought Feng earlier, neither had been able to truly overcome the other. But now, in the contest of physical strength, he had slightly lost. Though this didn't necessarily mean Feng's overall combat power was stronger, Zong Teng, with his immense pride, still felt somewhat uncomfortable. Brother Mo's palm strike was impressive, but I couldn't help but notice the phoenix cry when you struck. It seems you must have a deep connection with the Phoenix clan, am I right? Shan said with a glint in his eyes, then smiled. Feng didn't comment, not bothering to respond. His eyes remained locked on the black stone tablet, a flicker of intensity in his gaze. Buzz. Under Feng's focused gaze, the black stone tablet trembled once more as a surge of chaotic energy burst forth. This time, the devouring divine beast essence released from the stone tablet was clearly more concentrated than the one Zong Teng had received earlier. Feng watched the chaotic aura, then took a deep breath, directly swallowing all of it into his body. Instantly, it was as if flames ignited in his eyes, and flames began to rise from his body that a powerful, overwhelming presence slowly emanated from him. The movement within Feng's body continued for nearly several minutes. Only then did he open his eyes, a faint oppressive aura radiating from him. Clearly, after absorbing the devouring divine beast essence, he had experienced a massive improvement. Once his body calmed down, Feng stepped back from the black stone tablet. As he retreated, the ancient square before him was now only occupied by Shan and Mu Chun, who had not yet made their move. Mu Chun turned his gaze toward Shan, who smiled and said, "I've watched 2 rounds, and my hands are itching. How about I take the next one?" Mu Chun nodded lightly, signaling his agreement. Seeing this, Shan stepped forward. As he did, all eyes, both inside and outside the body refining tower, gathered on him. From a certain perspective, Shan was one of the top contenders among the 10 prodigies who entered the body refining tower. His combat ability was such that even someone as proud as Zong Teng had to admit that if it came to a battle of physical strength, Shan, a member of the Rhinoceros Demon clan, would have a significant advantage. Of course, physical strength was just one part of true combat power. So, even those with superior physical strength might not necessarily emerge victorious in a life-and-death struggle. It was likely that prodigies like Zong Teng had their own methods to compensate for any physical strength gaps. Under the gazes of countless people, Shan stood before the black stone tablet, hands clasped behind his back. He looked up, staring at the stone tablet, and simply standing there exuded an overwhelming sense of pressure. At that moment, he seemed like an ancient rhinoceros demon, about to charge through the heavens, causing mountains and rivers to collapse under his hooves. Shan slowly closed his eyes, and his body began to glow a deep red. This was a sign that his vital energy was surging wildly within him. Eventually, his vital energy seemed to burst from his body, gradually coalescing behind him into a blood-red giant rhinoceros, nearly 10 zhang tall. The massive rhinoceros stomped on the ground, its blood-red horn standing slightly upright. As it swayed, it even seemed to tear through space itself, displaying an incredibly terrifying sharpness. The giant rhinoceros stood quietly behind Shan, its front hooves slowly scraping the ground. Though there was no sound, everyone could sense that the momentum of the rhinoceros was rapidly building. The vital energy around Shan became more intense with each passing moment. His eyes suddenly snapped open, and they had turned completely blood-red. In the next instant, he took a step forward, and with a swift movement of his fingers, he pointed directly at the black stone tablet. Behind him, the blood-red giant rhinoceros charged forward, passing right through Shan's body. Its head lowered, its horn lifted, and it perfectly aligned with the 2 fingers Shan had extended. That one finger was like the rhinoceros demon's power, ready to destroy the world. The raised horn would pierce through any defense. Boom! Shan's fingers pierced the void and, under the watch of countless eyes, struck heavily against the stone tablet. The impact caused a crack to form in his fingers, and blood began to seep out. At the same time, the entire surface of the stone tablet was shaken, and visible ripples spread rapidly across it. The sound and force were far more intense than anything Feng and the others had done earlier. Chen and the others locked their gazes tightly on the ripples spreading across the stone tablet. In the darkness, the bronze lantern suddenly flared with brilliant flames. Roar! In just a breath's time, the first 5 bronze lanterns ignited almost simultaneously. The 6th lantern flickered for a moment before a blood-red flame appeared, and with a puff, it was fully ignited. As the 6th bronze lantern lit up, Chen and the others instinctively focused on the 7th lantern, sensing that the power of Shan's strike was far from spent. Under their intense gaze, the 7th bronze lantern indeed began to flicker with tiny flames. These flames gradually began to gather, albeit at a slower pace than before. Although the speed was slow, it was far more determined compared to Feng's previous attempt. Sizzle! More and more sparks appeared. When they reached a certain point, they erupted into a blaze, fully igniting the 7th bronze lantern. The 7th bronze lantern had successfully ignited. Splash! Outside the body refining tower, a clamor erupted, with waves of astonished and admiring voices echoing through the air. All the powerful experts had looks of awe and respect on their faces. Indeed, Shan lived up to his reputation as the most outstanding prodigy of the rhinoceros demon clan. With this move, he had almost completely suppressed Zong Teng and Feng. Shan is indeed impressive, even Nine Nether remarked, nodding slightly. Though the stone tablet's challenge relied solely on physical strength, she understood that Shan's overall combat ability, even among the 7th grade supremes, was not to be underestimated. He actually lit 7 of the bronze lanterns. Ling also couldn't help but praise him. Previously, even her older brother could only ignite a few sparks in the 7th lantern, but couldn't light it completely. Clearly, when it came to physical strength, Shan was slightly stronger than Feng. Next, we'll see if Big Brother Chen has made his move that I wonder what kind of results he'll achieve. Ling asked, her curiosity piqued. Nine Nether shook her head. She didn't know much about Chen's physical strength. The only thing she knew was that he had never relaxed his physical cultivation. From the Thunder God body of the past to the current Dragon and Phoenix body, these were extremely profound body refining techniques. Chen had achieved remarkable mastery in all of them. So even though Chen wasn't a divine beast, his physical body was likely stronger and more domineering than most divine beasts. With his strength, passing the test of the 4th layer shouldn't be too difficult, but whether he can rival Shan, that remains to be seen. Nine Nether mused. Based on Shan's performance, she knew it was already considered excellent, but whether Chen could surpass him, she wasn't certain. While the clamor continued outside the body refining tower, Shan stood in the ancient square, watching as the blood-red giant rhinoceros behind him dissipated. He slowly withdrew his fingers, and the wounds on his fingertips healed almost instantly with a light flick. He gazed calmly at the 7 burning bronze lanterns, a faint smile on his face, clearly not surprised by the outcome. Buzz. The black stone tablet began to tremble, and soon, faint blood-red patterns appeared on its surface. A trace of chaotic energy leaked out. However, this time, the chaotic energy carried a subtle crimson hue. That's... Mu Chen's eyes flashed as he focused on the swirling divine beast essence, noting the difference from before. That's the blood chi contained within the devouring divine beast's flesh, that it's even more refined than the essence chi, but only those who perform exceptionally well can receive it, Feng said calmly. Not far away, Zong Teng's eyes burned with heat and greed as he fixated on the chaotic energy. Chen nodded slightly. It seemed that only those who ignited all 7 of the bronze lanterns could receive such a reward. Before the stone tablet, Shan took a deep breath and directly absorbed all the slightly dark red chaotic energy. His body immediately turned crimson, and the blood-red giant rhinoceros, which had previously disappeared, reappeared behind him. That it quickly expanded, its fierce and domineering aura growing stronger. Whoosh! The giant rhinoceros's transformation lasted for a while before slowly dissipating. Shan's body returned to normal, that he glanced down at his palm, smiled slightly, and turned to leave, evidently pleased with the benefits he had gained. As Shan walked away, Zong Teng and Feng's gazes shifted toward Mu Chen. Meanwhile, outside the tower, curious eyes gathered on Mu Chen. Clearly, everyone was eager to see what kind of results this dark horse, who had risen within the body refining tower, would achieve in this trial. Would the dark horse revert to its true form, or would it soar once again? Everyone was filled with exceptional anticipation and curiosity. And under the intense gaze of the crowd, Mu Chen slowly stepped forward, making his way toward the black stone tablet.